Welcome to Thrive with Megan and Harry. We bring you news, views, and commentary about Harry and Meghan. Let's thrive together, guys. Hope you are all doing amazing on this blessed day in fantastic February, celebrating our Black History in Black History Month. So, as I said before, for this Black History Month, I want to concentrate on bringing you two historic figures per episode, one from the past and one from today. So, today we are focusing on the incredible Harriet Tubman. Come along on this historic ride with me, guys. Harriet Tubman was an American abolitionist and political activist. She was born a slave in March 1822 in Dorchester County, Maryland. Harriet was born to enslaved parents. Her maternal grandmother, Modesty, arrived in the U.S. on a slave ship from the African continent. This is actually very rare to find out this much about one's African roots because most descendants of slaves will never actually know the name of their African ancestor who first set foot on the New World because their identities were effectively erased. They sought to erase their identities, which unfortunately has been incredibly effective in making a slave. I actually learned a whole lot about this phenomenon from this incredibly informative documentary series called Many Rivers to Cross, which originally aired on PBS and it's narrated by Professor Henry Louis Gates. I, guys, you really should check that out. It is incredibly informative and eye-opening. It really is. Now, back to Harriet Tubman. She was unfortunately beaten and whipped as a child by her various masters, unfortunately, which subsequently led to her suffering a traumatic head injury when an irate overseer threw a heavy metal weight in the direction where Harriet was, leading to a lifetime of dizzy spells, incredible pain, and a condition called hypersomnia, which unfortunately occurred throughout her entire life. During the years, she would experience vivid dreams and strange visions. That's what she recorded. In 1849, she escaped to Philadelphia and she subsequently returned on many occasions to guide family members and other enslaved people out of the state and eventually to freedom. They traveled by night and in extreme secrecy. After the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 was unfortunately passed, Harriet helped guide the heroic runaways even further north into Canada. Harriet rescued around 70 slaves in almost 13 expeditions. There are, incidentally, many families descended from slaves living in St. Catharines in Niagara Falls, Canada, to this day. Their stories are actually fascinating. These are people who took their own destiny into their own hands. They left that situation. They didn't know what to expect. They were at the mercy of the elements, the harsh, bitter cold, and the only thing that they had leading them was the North Star, literally. It's actually a story of survival and a courageous spirit that these people had. They are incredible. Those were our incredible ancestors. The network of safe houses that were used by the courageous escapees, where they could seek shelter, food, and warmth, began to be known as the Underground Railroad. There was a whole cross section of people in the Underground Railroad network. It included free black people, white abolitionists, and just people who were sympathetic to the cause. Canada was a safe haven for escaped slaves. They could find work here, make a life for themselves, and most importantly, be free. Canada did have its prejudices. It wasn't perfect, but the escaped slaves could come to Canada and live in dignity and work and make a living and buy property and basically live the Canadian dream, which is one and the same with the American dream. Harriet Tubman dedicated her entire life to helping escapees to arrive safely. Harriet is even quoted as saying, and I quote, "I was the conductor of the Underground Railroad for 8 years, and I can say what most conductors can't say. I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." Unquote. During the American Civil War, Harriet, or Moses, as she was also affectionately nicknamed, served as an armed scout and spy for the Union Army. In her formative years, she was an activist in the movement for women's suffrage as well. Later in life, despite her years of service, Harriet never received a regular salary and was basically denied any compensation for her service. The U.S. government never really compensated Harriet Tubman fully or her family for everything that she had done over all these years. They did, however, in years in the years after her death, they did actually give a settlement to her organization, but still, she never really got what she deserved. That's the long and short of it. So I hope you see now, as you're listening to my voice, why the case for reparations for the descendants of enslaved people, is so important. None of these incredible people were compensated for their service or their hard labor. And us, their descendants, we are suffering to this day because of it. It's just that simple. Reparations for all descendants of enslaved people. Harriet Tubman spent her latter years caring for others, basically helping whoever needed her help. She eventually did remarry, and adopted a baby girl named Gertie in 1874. Harriet's friends and supporters basically raised money and helped to support her as she was living in squalor in her later years. One of her followers, Sarah Hopkins Bradford, wrote an autobiography, an authorized biography entitled "Scenes in the Life of Harriet Tubman." The 132-page volume was published in 1869, and surprisingly, Harriet was actually paid around $1,200, which would probably be a good few $1,000s if adjusted for inflation today. The book was even rewritten and re-released years after and called Harriet the Moses of her people. Another thing that happened in her latter years was she actually fell victim to fraud. Apparently, Harriet fell prey in 1873 to two con men. She apparently took them into her home as she was very trusting and was always trying to help people out. Suffice to say, they swindled her out of money that she had borrowed actually in order to help them, and they stole the money and bound and gagged her. In the long run, Harriet Tubman did receive some monies, as I said before, but she faced misogyny from some people who didn't think she deserved it. No surprise there. They didn't think she deserved it for all the services that she rendered to the Union Army as a scout, a nurse, and a spy. However, though, in 2003, Congress approved a payment of US $11,750 of additional pension to compensate for the perceived deficiency of the payments made during her life. The funds were directed to the maintenance of her relevant historical sites. Personally, I do believe that it should have been more, but something is better than nothing. Let's put it that way. Harriet Tubman unfortunately caught pneumonia in her latter years, and on March 10th, 1913, she ascended. And it is said that she told those in the room that, and I quote, "I go to prepare a place for you." She was laid to rest at the Fort Hill Cemetery in Auburn, and Harriet Tubman received semi-military honors in her death. Even in her death, she was cheated of what she really deserved, which was full military honors. Harriet Tubman was a dedicated American patriot and humanitarian. Here in Canada, in southern Ontario, the Salem Chapel BME Church was designated as a National Historic Site in 1999. The chapel in St. Catharines, Ontario was a focus of Harriet Tubman's years spent when she lived here in Canada. She lived close to the chapel, which was a major terminus of the Underground Railroad and center of her abolitionist work. She was designated a National Historic Person here in Canada after the Historic Sites and Monuments Board recommended in 2005. What an amazing legacy Harriet Tubman has. I am so happy to bring you some of her historic story, especially her connections to Canada and the fact that she actually lived here for years. That's fascinating. I didn't even know that. I did know she lived in Canada for a little bit, but I didn't think it was years. So I was actually pretty stoked to find that out. So now, my second modern historic figure that I want to bring you today is Michelle Obama. Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama was born on January 17th, 1964 in Chicago, Illinois. Her parents are Fraser Robinson III, who was a city water plant employee and Democratic precinct captain. It is known that Fraser Robinson was for a significant portion of his life, suffered with multiple sclerosis or MS, which contributed to a lot of physical pain that he experienced in life and led him to a somewhat early death at the age of only 56. Her mother, Marion Robinson, was a secretary at Spielga's catalog store. Marion was a dedicated homemaker until both Michelle and her brother Craig were in college. So, Michelle Obama has an amazing family tree that can be traced all to the pre-Civil War African American story and in the American South. Sorry, I did mess that up, guys. I apologize. I'll read it again. Michelle Obama has an amazing family tree that can trace their roots to pre-Civil War African Americans in the American South. There you go. On her father's side, she is descended from the Gula people of South Carolina's Low Country region. Her paternal great-great-grandfather, Jim Robinson, was born into slavery in 1850 on Friend Field Plantation near Georgetown, South Carolina. He became a freedman at the age of 15 after the Civil War. Her great-great-great-grandmother, Malvinia Dorsey Shields, was also born into slavery in South Carolina. All four of Michelle Obama's grandparents had multiracial ancestors, reflecting the complex history of the United States. Michelle Obama attended Bryn Mawr Elementary School, where she was considered a gifted student. She also then attended Whitney Young High School, where she incidentally became a classmate and close friend of Jesse Jackson's daughter, Santita. She was on the honor roll for 4 years and took advanced placement classes, was a member of the National Honor Society, and served as student council treasurer. She graduated in 1981 as the salutatorian of her class. Michelle Obama entered the Ivy League School of Princeton University in 1981. She made the joke that if her brother Craig could get in there, so could she. She majored in sociology and minored in African American studies, graduating cum laude with a Bachelor of Arts in 1985. Michelle has credited her brother Craig, who enjoyed an incredible status as an alumni and a star athlete, that did in fact help her during the admissions process. Craig Robinson went on to become a basketball coach at Oregon State University and Brown University, among his many other accomplishments. Michelle went on to pursue professional studies, earning her Juris Doctor degree from Harvard Law School in 1988. She worked for the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau, and she is actually one of only 3 first ladies with a postgraduate degree. The other first ladies who joined her were, of course, Hillary Clinton and Laura Bush. Michelle Obama would meet Barack Obama Michelle Robinson would meet Barack Obama when they both worked at law firm Sidley Austin LLP. She was actually assigned to mentor him when he was a summer associate. She had said later that she was intrigued with his cute looks and wondered what kind of a name was Barack Obama. She was taken aback with his intelligence and humor. They were married on October 3rd, 1992. They have 2 incredibly beautiful daughters, Sasha and Malia. Michelle Obama also held public sector positions on the Chicago city government as an assistant to the mayor and as assistant commissioner of planning and development. In 1993, she became executive director for the Chicago Office of Public Allies, a nonprofit organization. In 1996, she served as Associate Dean of Student Services at the University of Chicago. She also, in 2005, served as Vice President for Community and External Affairs. In 2008, Barack Obama became the President of the United States. They were, of course, the first Black presidential family, and they served 2 terms in the White House. After they left the White House, they both have released books, of which I have both of them. And they do quite a bit of public speaking assignments. And at the moment, they are working on the Obama Presidential Library, which will be located in Chicago. And I intend to visit as soon as it is finished. As soon as it's finished, guys. I cannot wait. I had a great time researching all this for you guys. What an honor to bring you these modern and historical leaders in Black history. So today, guys, Harry is joining Serena Williams to speak at Better Up's Inner Workday in his capacity as Chief Impact Officer. The online event description says join Better Up CEO Alexei Robancha. I know I didn't say that name right. In conversation with Chief Impact Officer Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and Serena Williams, winner of 23 Grand Slams in her record-smashing tennis career. She is also an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and designer. They will be discussing cultivating the power of mental fitness through a bold commitment to inner work. From creating companies and foundations designed to inspire others to achieve their best, to tackling challenges and finding success both in and outside of work. Prince Harry, Serena, and Alexei share their personal stories and unique perspectives. So remember to catch that later today. I will bring a more in-depth look at this event in my next episode. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. This has been amazing. I really am enjoying doing these. I really am enjoying doing these deep dives into some of our favorite and most accomplished leaders. So it's been amazing. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and share this. We are aiming, guys, for 1,800 subscribers, right? And our goal is 2,000 by the end of March, which is my birthday month. So that would be nice if you do that, guys. Remember to always subscribe and to like and share. Thanks so much if you've sent any super chats to support the channel. We also have PayPal as well. Thanks so much to channel members Lydia Washington and Mrs. S for financially supporting this channel so I can continue to bring you these stories and important Black historic figures stories. I really do enjoy doing that. Remember that Megan said it's not enough to just survive something. That's not the point of life. You've got to thrive. You've got to feel happy. Unquote. Thank you so much, guys. Happy Black History Month. Bye.